Hello and welcome to BORG Solo, episode 2. So I decided to call this series Doomed Misery in order to, separate it a bit from the original season. It's not required viewing to have seen the original season, but some of the stuff will carry over. It is in the same universe. So I will be explaining all of that as we go along, so don't worry about that. But speaking of which, I should give some actual backstory to what happened in the first season. So just as a general overview, and there's spoilers here, basically there was this cult called the Cult of the Pregnant Bull, and there was this cult called the Cult of the Howling Lamb. Both were in war with each other, and our protagonist got caught up in the middle of it and ended up fighting for the Cult of the Pregnant Bull. One of them, Naplum, died in battle, and Rebar, the other one, ended up being a prophet of sorts for the Pregnant Bull. And I was thinking about this as we got into the next season, and I was thinking about how I wanted to integrate all of that lore back into this series. And I was thinking, well, BORG has the miseries, right? In BORG, things are always coming closer and closer to the apocalypse. And I felt that what happened in the previous season was enough to warrant a misery. So a misery is one step closer to the apocalypse. And once there are 7 miseries, the basilisk will come out and devour all. So, what is the misery that I decided on? I didn't roll on this. I thought I would pick what was appropriate. The Pregnant Bull is something that I was thinking about, and I was thinking that it will be symbolic of birth and rebirth, perhaps, and body horror. Or 1. For 5 days and 5 nights, mother's flesh shall be the cloak of demons. So there's a few ways to interpret that. You can interpret that literally, like for 5 days and 5 nights, all of the pregnant women basically give birth to actual demons. But I actually was interpreting it a little bit differently. So let's open up the box here. We have our character sheets here. I did actually make a few modifications because I realized I didn't give them proper items other than the ones they started with in their custom character classes. So that's going to be something I'll cover later on. But more to the point, here is our campaign notebook. I basically was using a sketchbook the previous time. I realized there weren't enough pages in it to actually write out the entire campaign. So I pasted the characters into this book, and I will be using this book as the campaign notebook. I actually made it myself. I actually cut it down from an older sketchbook, and I made this myself. This is just like glued on. So for 5 days and 5 nights, mother's flesh shall be the cloak of demons. What I wanted to do for this particular season is to have a very definite starting goal. I wanted to still figure it out as I went, but I knew I wanted to hunt a monster of some kind. The way I'm thinking about it is that the Pregnant Bull created a monster of some kind. Basically, there's this monster that's giving birth to some kind of other monsters, other smaller monsters. Those might be goblins, or they might be custom creatures. I'm still not sure about that yet. Our protagonists are going to have to try to find this monster and try to kill it. So what do I have here? There are 5 basically boxes here, and there's what seems to be a deck of cards, and we are going to be using cards for this. So what this actually is I'm going to be using my supplement's monster generation. So my supplement, Solitary Depths, has a section for 5 card rare monster generation. Every single time Galt or Jaurk finds a clue about a monster, I will draw a card, and that will tell me something about the monster. And I think that's an interesting way to go about it. So they're going to start off knowing nothing about the monster, and I'm going to start filling in the details as I go, and eventually we're going to have enough to be able to draw the monster out. The question is though, where do they actually start? In our previous adventure, the adventurers started off in the middle of nowhere, like in the outskirts of the Dying Lands. and they were coming in through Sarkash. I think this time they're gonna start off in a city. I'm not sure which city yet, we'll figure that out as we go. But before that, let's actually get into these character sheets. So I have drawn up the characters as you can see. I also gave them a few more items because I realized that in the core book there are actually instructions for that, and I only gave them the custom class items. So I rolled up their items, and Galt gets a lantern as well as a shield, and he gets 3 rations as well, and some oil for the lantern. So the shield is going to give him additional protection, which is going to be even better for him. As for Jaurk, Jaurk is actually going to get 2 rations, and he's going to get a sack that can carry 10 items. He's also going to get a shield similar to Galt, as well as an unclean scroll, Daemon of Capillaries, which can allow him to suffocate enemies, which is very cool. Okay, so let's get into the adventure proper. So the question is, where do our intrepid adventurers start from? There are a few places that I have in mind actually. One of them being Galgenbeck. That's the main city, I feel, of the Dying Lands. They could also start off in the village of Schleswig, or they could start off in Grift or Elends. I kind of wanted them to either start in Schleswig or in Galgenbeck. So 1 to 3 is going to be Schleswig, 4 to 6 is going to be Galgenbeck. Okay, they are going to start in the city of Galgenbeck. Galgenbeck is the greatest city that ever was. No king or queen rules in Galgenbeck, but an archpriestess, Josepha Migol. Deep beneath the cathedral of the 2-headed basilisks, in a cool black chamber crossed by shards of light, lies her throne. Josepha, is it Josepha or Josepha? I'm gonna say Josepha. Old but still young, commoners gossip that she colludes with the god Necrobel, who gave her eternal life. Okay, so that's what we know about Galgenbeck for the moment, but we are actually going to start our adventure with a city crawl. And I'm going to be using Alone in the Crowd, a supplement for Solitary Defilement that has city crawling rules. So this is what we're going to be using for this adventure. Now, I was thinking about it a little bit as well. And since this is actually the start of our adventure, we need to know a few things actually. One thing is, there is this thing here for beginning an adventure. You may like to structure your play by deciding how many milestones a campaign or adventure will involve. So straightforward is 1, annoying is 2, depressing is 4, worrying is 8, and suicidal is 12. Some of these you can map out straight away to define your initial objectives. Others may be more obscure and reveal themselves through play. Yeah, I think we're going to go with depressing journey or a wearing journey. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll go in between. Maybe we'll say 6 milestones or so. So every time you complete a milestone, you can basically get better if it's significant. So we'll write this out over here. The journey begins. So there's going to be 6 milestones. And I think the first one is going to be trying to find out information about our enemy here. But before we get into all of that, actually, again, we have to ask a few questions being at the start of our journey. How did Jaurk and Galt come to ally with each other? I've already kind of figured out the personalities of them. I didn't roll for this. It's more that I thought what's appropriate. I know that Galt is kind of like coward and maybe slightly insane. I know that Jaurk is kind of a bit depressed and maybe very cynical. I think for Galt, I'm gonna say that his skull turned, the knight that he slew by tricking into a goblin ambush, actually is kind of like encouraging him to do this crazy adventure. And I think Turn maybe was a companion to Jaurk in the past. Maybe they fought in the past together. And Galt is being led to Jaurk as kind of like a companion in his journey to help him out. That's what I'm thinking right now. So I think they don't really like each other. After all, Galt did kill Jaurk's friend, technically. But Galt says that his friend well, his skull friend told him to meet with Jaurk. And Jaurk and Galt are going to work together for now. But why are they trying to rid this beast? I mean, there might be a few reasons here. It might just be for glory, or it might be for wealth, or it might be for honor, it might be one of many things. So I am actually going to roll on this, the portents and curses of the Prince of Gorse. So this was an oracle that we used in Season 1 quite a bit, and we're actually going to roll on it again and figure out why are they on this mad journey to kill this monster. Let's see. Let's roll a d20. That's going to be a 4. The pregnant bull. Oh my god, okay. So, okay, that's very weird luck. So we got a pregnant bull. So what that tells me is that they know of the pregnant bull. They know of the cult of the pregnant bull. They know that the pregnant bull is the god that gave birth to this abomination. But there is a reason why they are going after it. And I'm still not sure why. Why would they not just stay away, right? That's my question. So in order to answer that, I am actually just going to roll on a D100 on my Chaos Portent. So let's go with that. It's going to be a 29. So that is going to be Curse. Interesting. And we're going to get a 65. Curse of the Flesh. Curse Flesh. Curse Flesh. Oh, that is also kind of very in line with the pregnant bull. We know that this creature was kind of born of something. It's some kind of body horror. Yeah, so I think what is happening here is that the pregnant bull, in addition to creating this beast, has created this miasmic plague that has started infecting the surrounding areas and has gotten to Galt and to Jaurk. So both of them are infected with this. And I think that makes it pretty clear. Again, for 5 days and 5 nights, Mother's flesh shall be the cloak of demons. I think what's happening here is that they are on a time limit. If they are not able to actually stop this creature before the 5 days and the 5 nights are up, they will actually themselves be transformed into something else, some kind of body horror as well. So this is out of necessity. And how did they come to know of all of this? I think that Galt's skull turn actually gave him a tip-off. Maybe Galt's skull was trying to... Well, not the skull. The guy he killed was trying to stop the cult of the pregnant bull. And he has somehow in the afterlife told Galt about all of this information. So I think that's a pretty good start-off point, actually. So one of the milestones is definitely going to have to be to actually kill that creature, right? To stop this curse from going on. So what I'm gonna say is that in order to find this creature, they're going to have to go on a little bit of a journey here, but they are on a time limit of sorts. And this is going to be kill the creature, something like this. They're going to start off their journey trying to find information about the creature. I think maybe one of the milestones might be to find the lair. So we know that the creature is in some kind of lair, so it's going to be one of these maybe. And they're going to start off by trying to find all of the information. So I think find out about the creature. Find out about the creature's details. I think that's good. We have 6 milestones here. 3 of them are going to be these. But anything that contributes to them finding the creature, killing the creature, and stopping the curse is going to actually aid them. So I'm going to write that down. The objective is going to be stop the curse. Now, is the curse only on them? I don't think so. I think that's highly unlikely. But is the curse going to be... Well, is it going to be on the entirety of Galgenbeck? I think that's likely. That's going to be 18 and 18. Okay, yeah. So the curse is actually going to be on the entirety of Galgenbeck. Interesting. So Galgenbeck is going to be infected with this curse. Do they know that they're infected though? What do they know about the effects that will happen to them? I don't know about that. I think that's a 50-50. No, they don't. Okay, so they just know that there's some kind of fever or some kind of plague going about. They don't know about the ramifications of this. And I don't think they're gonna believe our two protagonists. However, there must be somebody that they can talk to in order to find out more. But who is it gonna be? Who is that character going to be? Who or what contacts you? So this is going to be the character that they're going to have to find in order to find out their first clue. So who is it gonna be? There's gonna be a 7. Okay. A remorseful hangman. They're going to have to find and talk to a remorseful hangman. Okay, so I'm gonna say that they start off in the city of Gelgenbeck. Yeah, I'm gonna say they start off in the local tavern, and that's where they met up, and that's where they decided that they're going to have to take out this monster, and that nobody will basically believe them, so it's just up to the two of them to be able to take out this monster and stop the curse from infecting all of Gelgenbeck as well as themselves. So we'll find out what tavern are they actually in. There's going to be 14, the sleeping, 16, the sleeping cannibal. Okay, so in the sleeping cannibal, over mugs of piss-laced ale, they talk. Jaurk and Galt talk. They talk about their plans to stop this creature. And their first plan of action is going to have to be to find that hangman. So I'm not sure who is the one who actually knows this hangman, who knows that this hangman has the information. Is it going to be Jaurk or Galt? 1 to 3 is Jaurk, 4 to 6 is Galt. So it's Galt again. So Galt seems to be the person who knows all this information. I'm going to say that Galt isn't the one who actually knows, is the skull. Is the skull that's actually leading them onwards. And who Jaurk, again, doesn't entirely trust maybe. But that's the only lead they have, so that's the lead they're going to go on. We're actually going to use, like I said, the Alone in the Crowd supplement here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to do a little bit of a city crawl. Yeah, we're just going to start off with doing a city DR. Let's see here, city DR. I think the DR for this, we'll just say it's so city DR 8. And this is going to be the difficulty at which we're going to have to go through this city with. So let's actually start. Okay, so we are starting off from the tavern in Gelgenbeck. I think we're just gonna maybe put it down here. Gonna start off at the tavern, the sleeping cannibal, and we're gonna go from there. So I think what's gonna happen first is that we're gonna actually try to find the hangman. So we're gonna actually try to get directions first, maybe. So it's gonna be a DR12 presence versus a 2D20. So I think who's gonna actually ask for directions here? Jaurk's presence is pretty shit. How about, well, their presence is both actually pretty bad. Jaurk's presence is at -1, and Galt's presence is at 0. So I think we're just going to make Galt ask for directions around to the hangman, especially since he's the one leading this entire adventure here for the moment, which is certainly something I didn't quite expect. So we're gonna roll for a 2d20 here. Let's see what we got. That's gonna be an 11 and an 8. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be a complete miss. I needed a 12 for that, so that's gonna be a failure. You've got no idea and no one else is of any help. Great start. Fantastic start. So we're just gonna have to go through and try to find it on our own. So what we're gonna do is that we're going to actually go through the city, starting out from the tavern. We walk out of the tavern, we're surrounded by all sides by these buildings, and it's kind of like a labyrinth. I think Galt and Jaurk kind of like were from different parts of the Dying Land. I think what happened here is that they are new to Gelgenbeck, and they arrived just in time for the curse to be placed on the entirety of Gelgenbeck, which is, not so fortunate for them, but, yeah, I think we're gonna just need to find a hangman, right? So actually, we're gonna change that a little bit. We're gonna change the city DR to, let's change that up real quick. Let's change the city DR to 10. So we're gonna have to take a 10 to be able to find the hangman here. So let's roll on it. And we're going to get a 17 and a 5. So that's going to be a weak hit. Roll on a new street using the street descriptors oracle. Street descriptors. So as we come out of the tavern, what do we find? We find ourselves in some kind of street. It's going to be a filthy 7 tunnel. Oh, okay. A filthy tunnel. How many exits are there? 4. There's gonna be 3 exits. It's kind of like crossroads. Okay, so as we're coming out of this tavern here, something like that, we kind of like find ourselves ending up in some kind of like tunnel of sorts. And the tunnel ends up leading to some kind of crossroads. Okay, so what are the street contents? What do we find inside this tunnel? So let's see. 7. A business. Okay. Somebody is doing some kind of business within this tunnel. Interesting. There's gonna be a 1. So we find a herb master. Oh, they have potions. Okay. Stocks D4 potions from the occult herb master. Core 56 D4 doses. 20 silver each. Oh my. Okay, that actually might be useful to us. So D4 of the potions. Let's see what they have in stock. So they're gonna stock 4 potions. What are the potions that they're stocking? Let's see. 6. Fernar's filter. Translucent oil must be dabbed right into the eye. Heals infection and gives +2 on presence test for D4 hours. That's pretty good. We'll note that down. That's something of what he's selling. 5. Spider owl soup. See in the darkness, climb on walls for 30 minutes. I like that a lot. I think I'm gonna buy that, possibly. Let's see the other 2 though. 4. Alexis Vitalis. Heals D6 HP and stops infection, can be habit forming. Oh, okay. I might buy that as well. Roll again. That's gonna be a 6. So there's basically 2 Fernar's filter. I don't know how to pronounce that. I think Jaurk is gonna purchase them because he has the most money here. Yeah, he has like 140 silver. So this merchant is selling them for how much each? 20 silver each. We can buy the whole lot actually. I don't think we will. I think we'll save up our money a little bit. But that's actually a really good deal. So we're gonna go down to 100 silver. Spider owl soup. And that's going to allow us to see in the dark and climb on walls for 30 minutes. And we're also going to get Elixir Vitalis, which heals D6 HP and it can stop infection, but might be habit forming. So it might be a drug of some kind. Actually, yeah, should we purchase that last thing? It might be good for us to do so in order to get some presents. I think, yeah, we're gonna buy one more thing. So we're gonna buy Fernar's filter. We're going to go down to 80 silver. And we purchase those 3 potions from this herb master. And I think, yeah, that's actually going to be of great use to us. So fantastic. Within this tavern, we found a herb master of some description, and they were able to sell us a few potions. Very nice. Okay, cool. So we're able to go through here, and I think we're gonna take the right here. And let's see, are we able to find our goal, which is to find the hangman? 17 and a 5. Oh man, these weak hits. So that's going to be 5. A flooded. Oh, okay, so this place is maybe flooded with some kind of like liquid. We don't know what kind of liquid. Oh, there's gonna be a 9. Yeah, it's a bit hard to see, but there's a dot there. So there's gonna be a 9. Arcade. Wait, what? An arcade? I have no idea. Is that arcade? I'm guessing that's like a term for something else. I'm just gonna re-roll that actually. I have no idea what an arcade is in the medieval sense. Undercroft. This kind of like flooded area here. Something like that. We're in a flooded undercroft. Street exits. How many are there? 4. Okay, so it's another 3 exits and crossroads kind of deal. So I think one of them is gonna go out here. One of them is gonna go out there. One of them is gonna go out there. Something like that. Maybe this place is a bit flooded over with something. Actually, I'm interested what that liquid is. But firstly, what are the contents that we find? 5. A special structure. Okay. A special structure of some kind. Special structures. Okay, so we're gonna roll for that. In here we find 4. A holy place. Okay. Holy place. What kind of holy place? So holy places are... There's gonna be a 1. So, okay, a statue. We find a statue with like just water surrounding it. Kind of something like that, I guess. Interesting. What's the descriptor of this statue? Let's actually roll for that. 12. CD. Okay. So maybe this is a statue to... I'm not sure what this statue represents. So I'm actually going to just roll randomly for that as well. We're gonna roll for the Chaos Portents here. What do we get? We get a 7. C. 9. We get a 95. C. A call. See a call. It's pointing to somewhere. It's pointing... The statue is pointing towards one of these directions. 1 to 2 is this, 3 to 4 is this, 5 to 6 is this. So it's pointing in this direction here. Okay, that's interesting. So it's kind of like pointing us towards this direction. Is it some kind of trap? I mean, it could be, but we don't know yet. What I also want to know is, what is this liquid that we are stuck in right now? What's the odor or taste of this liquid? Let's see. 3. Rotten. Okay. Rotten. Great. Fantastic. So we're in this kind of like rotten filth, and this like seedy looking statue is pointing us off in this direction. I think we're gonna be curious about that. I think we're gonna follow it. So the question is, do we actually follow this path here that the statue is pointing towards? Or do we avoid it? I think our curiosity is piqued and we're going to go towards that path. So we're going to roll on the DR this time. And let's see what we're gonna get. Gonna get it. Ooh, that's a strong hit. So we actually reach our objective. Nice. Okay, so that was an omen. So we reached the hangman. Mortician / Undertaker. Yeah, I think that's the closest that we're gonna get actually. So yeah, we're gonna see the Mortician / Undertaker, who also happens to be the hangman around these parts. So they have some stuff that they can sell us, and okay, that's interesting. But I think we're gonna be wanting to ask them about rumors. So we end up finding ourselves in the business place of the hangman. Outside, maybe there's a noose of some kind that is kind of like a symbol of his business. I think that's interesting. So we go on in, and what kind of person is this hangman who we are going to get our first clue from? Well, let's see. We'll roll for an NPC descriptor. This position is going to be 16. A greedy / miserly hangman. So he's gonna want something from us. So this is gonna be the hangman. We're going to go in. We're gonna ask him about this particular creature. And he's going to go, yes, I know about the creature, but you're gonna have to give me something in return. Well, what is it that he wants in return? Is it money? That could be a thing. Is it perhaps, as a hangman, what will he be interested in? Or as a mortician / undertaker? Maybe he might send us on a quest or something. So my question is it just straight up money that he wants? He's greedy, but it might not mean money. 50-50. Yes, it is. Okay, so he's gonna ask for a sum of money. I'm not sure how much he's gonna ask for. Okay, I'm gonna roll a d6 and I'm gonna times that by 10. And that's how much he's going to be asking us for in terms of silver. 5. 50. Oh my god, that is a lot of silver. Let's see, how much do we have? Yeah, we're gonna have enough to pay him, but I think we're gonna want to have a discount on that. So I think Jaurk is gonna try to convince him. Actually, not Jaurk. I think Galt is gonna try to convince him by being intimidating. So I'm actually gonna use his presence here. So let's see, does it work or not? It's gonna be a weak hit. So it does succeed, but not by very much. I think he's just gonna drop it down to 40 silver actually. And we're gonna be able to pay that. And he wants that amount for the information on this creature. I think since Jaurk has more money here, he is gonna pay it out of his own pocket. So that is gonna bring him down to 40 silver. Okay, what is this clue that we're going to get about this creature as we start off our journey? Let us see. So we're gonna get a deck of cards here, get rid of the jokers here. I'm gonna shuffle it really badly because I never use cards. I'm just gonna mash them around pretty much. And I'm just gonna pick the top one. And this is going to be our first piece of information about the look of the creature. That is going to be a 4 of diamonds. So I'm gonna write that out. 4 of diamonds. That. Okay. So what is that gonna tell us about this creature? Overall look, 4. It's insect-like. Okay. So the overall look of this creature is going to be that it looks somewhat insect-like. Perhaps it's spider-like. Yeah, I'm thinking spider-like is more interesting because I'm thinking maybe it creates a web or a kind of a cocoon of sorts. Like it spins a cocoon of sorts that can basically eject creatures out of. So maybe spider-like? Question mark? Something like that, maybe. So this hangman talks about this creature that it saw nearby. Yeah, so firstly, is the hangman able to give us information about where this creature is? I'm gonna say that's unlikely. So take the lower one. 4, so he is not going to be able to. However, is he able to point us to somebody who might know more information about this particular being? I'm gonna say that's likely. 17. So yes, he can. Who is this person that he's going to be pointing to in order to give us more information about this particular creature? I think we're just going to roll for a random NPC for that. Let's see what their disposition is first. 16. So it's another greedy or miserly. Okay, this place is full of greedy and miserly people. So it's another greedy and miserly person. What's their profession? 25. A baker or cook? Oh, okay. Maybe it was a cook going out in search of ingredients. Yeah, I think it was basically a cook or baker. Wait, could it be the herb master? He did sell us spider owl soup. So maybe, just maybe, it's the herb master that he's talking about. Not really a cook of sorts, but, similar enough. Maybe they were searching for ingredients and they basically encountered this creature and have more instructions on where to find them. Yeah, I think that's going to be quite interesting. So, in addition to that, as we walk out of the hangman's business, I think this is going to be likely. Let me think about this. So that's going to be a 9 and a 9. So no. Okay. I thought it would be cool if the statue just started pointing in this direction instead, and it indicated that the gods were basically instructing us where to go. But no, the statue is still pointing towards the hangman. Perhaps that omen was just a one-off thing. So we're going to walk back towards the herb master. And to do that, we are going to have to backtrack through. What are the backtracking rules? Yeah, okay, so we're going to roll a d8 on that. So we're going to go first through the statue and the mug. 7. An NPC. We find an NPC as we come out of the hangman's place of business. Who is this NPC that we find? NPC encounters. Let's see. 23. A soldier. What is their reaction modifier? Because they say here there's a reaction modifier. That's going to be a 1. They're a deserter. Okay. So it's going to be a +2. So let's roll for their reaction. 2d6 +2. So that's going to be a 9, which is almost friendly. 9 is almost friendly. Yeah, so we've come across this deserter who perhaps is friendly towards us. Maybe he sees the both of us. He sees one of us having this gigantic sword, and he sees one of us in this huge set of armor, and he thinks that maybe we're able to give him some business. Maybe we can hire him. Because he's deserted his way from the army. Is this a new character to our party? I don't quite think we want a new member in our party. I mean, I think our characters do, but I don't, because I kind of don't want to keep track of 3 characters. I think instead we're gonna ask him whether there's any rumors of any creatures nearby. Maybe we can find out more information from this soldier. So instead of hiring him, we can potentially find out what he knows about the creature. So what is this soldier's disposition, firstly? We know that he's friendly towards us, but his disposition might tell us more. 26. That is going to be secretive or suspicious. So they're hiding some kind of secret. Okay. So I think that might mean that they actually do know about this creature. Let's roll that at a likely chance. Maybe they're holding some kind of secret about it. 20. 20 is going to be an extreme yes. They definitely know something about the creature. Not only that, they can actually give us another card, another clue about what the creature is like. Oh, okay. So this is very, very valuable information. How did he come to know of this creature? There's gonna be a 89. So that's going to be a pull 55. Pull path. Pulled towards a path. Pulled towards a path. While deserting the army, he basically was pulled towards a path that led him back to Galgenbeck. But during this time, he was able to spot where the monster was along that path. Now, that makes me think that he's not a soldier of Galgenbeck per se. So what that makes me think of is that he is in fact from the south, which means that the monster is between the wasteland and Galgenbeck. Maybe they're in the Valley of the Unfortunate Undead. Let's ask that as a likely question. Are they in the Valley of the Unfortunate Undead? That's going to be an 18. That's going to be a yes. Okay, so we know where the lair is, in the Valley of the Unfortunate Undead. Okay, we're going to have to make our way to that place then. I'm going to write this out. Lair, Valley of the Unfortunate Undead. In that case, I think he is only able to give us that information. I don't think he's able to actually give us any other information. Let's roll that as an unlikely chance. Does he know any more? Unlikely. So I'm gonna pick the lower one. Oh, 17 and 11. He does. He does know something else about the monster, which means we do indeed get a clue from him. What we get is another card. Three of Clubs. Okay. So, Three of Clubs. Okay. Alright. So that gives us a feature as well. So what is the feature of this particular beast that he saw skulking about as he went off towards Galgenbeck? Let's see here. The defining feature is going to be tree. A human face. Okay. It's an insect or spider-like creature with a human face. Human face. And their intention is basically the suits of the first and second cards, which is going to be a diamond and a club. So that's going to be it wants silver. Okay. It wants silver. What does it want with silver? It wants silver. It's greedy. It's a greedy insect-like creature with a human face. Okay, I think we know at least enough about that to be able to do a preliminary drawing soon. But first, before we do that, let's actually get back to the Herb Master. So we're going to do a bit more backtracking here. So backtracking, right? That's going to be a tree. So nothing. And then we're going to go back towards the Herb Master here. And we're going to roll a d8 one more time. It's going to be a 5. Nothing. Okay. So we're able to get back to the Herb Master without incident. And the Herb Master is going to be able to know something about this creature. The Hangman basically referred us back to the Herb Master. So the Herb Master knows something. And I think, we're going to have to convince them in some way. So the Hangman already took a lot of our gold. I don't think we're going to have much more. I think the Herb Master is going to be a bit more likely to give us information given that we are, a customer of theirs. Let's see. Let's see their reaction towards us. How about that? We're going to add a +2 to this because we were a customer of theirs. There's going to be a 5. They're angered by us. They're angered in some way by us because we're talking about this creature. Okay. So they are angered by us for some reason. They are not going to divulge the information willingly about this creature. I think what happens here is that the Herb Master things that we're trying to muscle in on their business and trying to find out places to get more of these kind of herbs so that we can sell them ourselves. Because the lair is a place full of these kind of like materials, and that's where he found the creature, and that's also where he found all of his ingredients for his herbs. So we're gonna have to convince him that that's not the case. I think this time Jaurk is gonna step in with his low presence, because I think Galt isn't the sort who's gonna try to reason with this guy. I think Jaurk is going to try to convince him that this is actually not the case, and that we just want to get rid of this creature. We don't want to muscle in on his materials. So let's see. It's gonna be a 19 and a 13. That is gonna be a strong hit. So Jaurk steps in and he goes, no, we're not trying to take away your business. In fact, we're trying to rid the land of this creature so that those materials might be easier to obtain. Like, you will have an easier time getting these materials and have an easier time making your herbs. And I think that convinces the herb master to give us that piece of information about this creature. So we're gonna get one more card. Okay. And it's going to be 10 of hearts. Okay. 10 of hearts. What is that going to give us? I believe it's gonna give us its HP, which is going to be... HP is the card number, minimum 2, maximum 10. We get HP of 10. Armor is, if it's even, is minus D2 armor. Okay, so that's going to be minus D2 armor. Alright. So we know about this creature now. It's spider-like, has a human face, 1 silver, and has 10 HP and minus D2 armor. So I'm thinking, yeah, I think I have an image in my mind actually. So we're actually going to erase this question mark here. And we gotta start drawing the creature. So I'm thinking something with a human face, right? And maybe something like this. Something with some kind of human face. And it's going to be attached to this gigantic spider-like creature. Yeah, it's like bristling with like hair or something. I think that looks kind of disgusting, but it fits. So I think the head isn't just like bolted on. I think you can see parts of the neck. And it's kind of like this body horror amalgamation. There's like human flesh mixed with like this kind of shell of the spider as well. I really apologize if any of you have arachnophobia or anything. So it's a human face, but I think I'm actually gonna give him some fangs as well. And he hoards, or it hoards this kind of like silver. So I think in addition to the legs, it has hands as well, maybe. And maybe it's grabbing at some kind of piles of silver. Yeah, it's like grabbing at piles of silver on the ground, something like this. Yeah, I kind of like that. There we go. Let's ink it out as well. So I'm thinking about this creature as I'm drawing him. And I think he spins these webs and it creates these cocoons, like I said. And it kind of causes these creatures to be kind of birthed out of it. I think that's really interesting. So I think I'm actually gonna go with that. I'm gonna try and make more of it more fleshy as well. Looks like the fangs are kind of coming out from his neck actually, which is kind of not what I was like intending, but that's also pretty cool. Looks like kind of like an old man, like an older man. Oh, I know what this is. I just had a huge revelation. I just realized who I'm drawing this entire time. I'm drawing Rebar from episode 1. Rebar has a bunch of scripts on the side of his head, so I'm gonna draw that in. But this is Rebar. He was rebirthed essentially into this form by the pregnant bull. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Rebar in the first season was somebody who was trying to escape a curse. He was basically cursed for killing a wretched royalty. He eventually became the living embodiment of the pregnant bull for a small period of time. So initially there was this other NPC called Naplum, who was basically the carrier of this god, the god of the pregnant bull. And when he died, Rebar for a small moment of time was the carrier of the god. So I think what happened in the end was he actually became the prophet of this god, and essentially is now kind of this horrific abomination, and this is essentially the monster who we have to defeat. I think that makes sense, especially since like the character looks so much like Rebar. I didn't even think of that, but like I was kind of like drawing him subconsciously, so it kind of makes sense actually, to me anyway. I'm just gonna finish this up with a few more details, and there we go. That is the creature whom we have to kill, the spider form of Rebar. This is basically our antagonist, or rather the embodiment of our antagonist for this season. Let me just erase this off. We still don't know a few things. We still don't know his morale, their attack, and their special, but we'll get to that when we get to that. And we might need to edit this drawing up a little bit along the way as well. So I think we're almost done hitting our first milestone, which will be finding out about the creature's details. But I think at this point, they are going to have to actually start keeping track of the days and the nights. Because as you remember from the start, there are only 5 days and 5 nights for them to confront the creature and to kill it. And they have just used up 1. So, will our adventurers actually be able to destroy this horrific abomination before it curses the entirety of Gelgenberg? We don't know yet, but hopefully they will, otherwise they're kind of fucked. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you will join me for the next episode, and I hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you for now. Goodbye.